some sort of agreement for that. And so we've done that parking lot before. We've done some things. The big thing is why I kind of want to tackle it again. We need to have a broader conversation like we've talked about our CIP, everything about how we want that whole area to be and look and formalize this. But unfortunately, repairs don't wait either. You know, and it's pretty poor shape, and we're getting into that extra busy time of ball tournaments and Lions baseball and Rotary and the traveling teams and all that stuff. And so there's kind of two options probably. Really, there's the expensive option. You just go to concrete, don't have to touch it again for a lot of years. That's probably about $47,000, $50,000, something like that. The option that I asked Click, like, hey, what's still a really solid parking lot that'll still last a long time. Might have to touch it a little bit more often. That's kind of the concept that came up here, where it really just needs to be excavated. Get it down 6-7 inches and put a solid base under it. It really doesn't have much of a base, and especially up where the grass used to be. I need a better mouse clicker here. Let's see if I can hand tool. Here we go. Kind of up here, this area here, there's just some millings put on top of grass, several years ago, and that's just ruts, if you've been up there. So again, that needs to be all taken out. And so it would just be millings packed down, and then they would put a just a seal coat, 2-inch seal coat over the top of it. And so really from a wear and tear standpoint, it should stand up pretty well. Again, probably every 5 years or so, you're going to have to put another seal coat over it. But it's one of those, it's going to be driven on and turned on, but we did actually just a millings parking lot in the town I came from because it was so cheap and we just needed something big. And from a toughness standpoint, I don't know how you want to say it, it's 5 years old and it's perfectly fine. I mean, if we would have seal coated it, it'd probably, seal coat tear up a little bit, but the base, it would have been completely fine. So.
Did you have like tour buses and stuff driving over that though? Because we do.
I do.
I was just gonna say, we do have a number, like right today, obviously, there was a whole bunch of them for the track meet last week too. That's my only concern about doing something which is.
Sure. I would say with that 6 inches of mills packed down, right, I think it would probably be pretty good, again, that's not super confident, but again, just based on my experience, we had just umpteen cars in a very low spot, wet spot where we applied something like this, and we never had rut issues, that's for sure.
Gonna get lost, are you looking at it 6 inches?
Well, if we did that 6-inch mill with a top coat, it would be about $4,000. Yeah. And, yeah. Because really with the millings, if you pack them in there right, I think they're gonna put oil. It's essentially like a loose asphalt.
Don't write them a check with it.
Yeah.
So for the bigger problem of the multi-owner area, what's your thoughts on the solution?
I think really, it's until we get into a room.
Yeah,
But we just need to get all those parties together and kind of hammer it out. I mean, what's the fair board? Why are we? What can we do with this? Because there's a lot of assets there, and we talked about a new complex and those types of things. But I think it's just kind of figuring out, hey, how can we get to where we want to be maybe in 5 years? As far as we got a lot of fields already there. If there's spots we can stick some more, can we make a centralized bathroom and sessions and so I don't know. There's a lot of discussion.
Across from the football field to the east, where the Lions Club,
Yeah.
Cookie Ball Field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically owned by the school,
It is.
It is.
and so,
There's a lot that.
how long before the school says, well, we'd really like to have that?
And so I think we have some good parties that can, myself being new, obviously our council, and Jeff Travis is a fairly new, superintendent, so there's maybe not some of that, old, this is the way we've always done it type of thing, that maybe set some of that stuff up, so maybe we can give it a fresh look and say, hey, how can we do this so it makes sense? I don't know, I mean, it's kind of it's a pretty convoluted thing, but it's probably one of those things that we kind of need to get talking about, now that Jeff's got, not that he's not busy, but school's about over, so this summer might be a prime time to kind of get him and myself and.
It'd just be nice to know who's responsible for what assets.
Yeah.
Because right now, you go to somebody and it's, well, that's not really ours.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next, you know, and it's, well, not really ours.
Yeah.
And you just keep getting passed around and,
Yeah.
Or the old, if you want it fixed up, fix it up.
Yeah.
And then the problem is, the city's always the bad guy, because they're not fixing.
Well, our names on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, even the Lions baseball field, it's the same thing, you know, again, because people assume that, and I don't blame them, I mean, residents, they don't know nuts and bolts and stuff, but, you know, and we got some things we wanna fix there too, and,
I think we've got enough individuals in the community that wanna take pride in it and take care of it.
Yeah.
It's just, we need a list of who to go to for everyone to do that,
Yeah.
you know?
And especially before we put money
Yeah,
into something.
yeah.
You don't want to
Exactly.
put money into something you don't own, which is clearly what we've done.
Yeah.
So we need to really figure that out before we start pouring more money into it, so.
But $4,000 for a parking lot, I don't
Yeah.
have an issue with that.
Get it on their agenda to get it completed.
yeah.
Okay. Your lot pricing is.
Lynn, what activities do we have up there, just flag football in the fall, that would be using that parking area?
That's-
Soccer and
Yeah.
soccer.
Football.
Thinking about as far as
Yeah.
When they can do it.
Click could get that, you know, as far as.
Maybe football in the fall.
Yeah, when's that dead time, you know, I don't think it would take them too.
Yeah, I don't know when the dead time is.
Well, July,
We can work with that, but
August?
after July 4th, somewhere around there, we get pretty slow, don't we? Because softball's
Yes.
done right after the July 4th,
Yeah,
too,
when's
and about
mine?
the time school
Yeah.
starts.
we'd
Legion,
have
you got Legion,
K-18
K-18.
and.
You're right, you're right.
We'd still.
But,
have
even that, I mean, there's a lot of
K-18.
parking lot out there too, you
Yeah.
could,
Yeah.
move that off and get it done,
Well, I think after the major school stuff was over, well, there's a,
Oh, then we have Rotary and
yeah.
co-ed and, yeah.
Yeah, like Lee was saying, after that July
End
time,
of July,
but,
yeah.
yeah.
even Legion gets over towards the end of July.
But it's not like it's gonna take forever to do something like that.
You know, if you and I take a
Get you out there with the shovel.
Yeah, any other? Yeah. Then we'll go to Jason's lot pricing.
Yeah, okay.
His personal preference.
Perfect, I'm sold. Excuse me. This is something we talked about a couple of months ago, and just trying to get back at it here, trying to get it closed out. We've kind of had a graphic guy over in Concordia or someplace kind of give us a mock-up of a, you know, kind of a development sign that you've seen in other towns. And Heather has an intern that's working on kind of a brochure. And again, so basically we just kind of said, hey, we need that price component to be able to plug into these items so that it makes it real clear, hey, lot 4 is this dollar amount. So kind of what I put in your packet was kind of two different not proposals, but kind of the initial price structure. So again, unfortunately, I put it backwards here, but the current pricing structure is the last page in your packet. And it's way over here on the right-hand side is that column. So you can kind of see where, first of all, the pricing really jumps around a lot. You know, lot 1 and lot 2 of block 3 are both very similar lots, like exactly the same. And, well, you know, one's a corner lot probably, or something to that effect. But, you know, again, pretty huge disparity in price. So that's kind of what I was trying to smooth out. Again, in the development, you know, this kind of the banker side of me speaking, you know, we look at all of our costs and then we kind of spread that on a price per square foot. We might put a premium on some lots, but, you know, we really want to kind of smooth that out. So that's kind of what I went up to here was, again, we had an appraisal from 2012 that we were kind of sticking that number in there. And again, it's probably not really relevant as a city. We kind of want to get rid of these, so we're just looking at getting our costs back out of it. It's kind of how I looked at it. And so kind of what I did was I took our street and just down here at the bottom of this one, I just kind of added it all together, totaled it, excuse me. And then our lights, and then the water sewer that we kind of put into that, and that was basically, you know, the pipes and then the lift station. I did take a little bit of street and water sewer out of here for this, and I deleted it as well, but lot 1 of block 2, which is the roadside park. So currently it's just a park, so I just figured that's kind of our call, you know, that's with our share of having those, that infrastructure up there. And so you know, if we ever were to change that and develop it, then we can, you know, obviously recoup some of that somehow. So, so basically what I did was just real simple. I just kind of came up with a, sorry, I can jump around here. Kind of an average price per square foot down here, which is, you know, pretty simple. Like that, find the total of these. And so then over here, we just, you know, took that price per square foot and multiplied it against this number, and I just put a rounding function on it to give us nice even numbers on these lots. And as you can kind of see, it kind of made them much more bunched together. You know, again, it's just mostly looking at square footage. It's not a huge disparity between lots, because again, you need the corner of the street, or you need the street, you know, the light pole in that's not on your property, you need it for the overall development. So that's kind of the concept here. So it simplifies it. You pay that price, you know, the street assessments, all that stuff, that particular lot are gone, and you're done. You know, like you can go build your house. Had two different developers kind of approach me about it, just kind of on the side, you know, just talking about it, and seemed excited about having that, just make it clear so they knew exactly what they're dealing with, and kind of some of the concepts, especially one that was proposing, or, you know, thinking about up there is exactly kind of what I was thinking and hoping for, as far as, you know, kind of rezoning it, kind of with some of that duplex or quadplex condo type idea, or, you know, even a, even a bigger facility than that, you know, for geared towards retirees type thing. So I think that's some good fits out there as far as the layering from the highway, from Roadside Park, especially those bigger lots. You know, these first three up here that are, you know, pretty big. You can put some, you know, fairly good sized units on, you know, a little bit denser, and the zoning that we put in there should allow for that. So, so anyways, I'm excited about, I think, getting this rolling, and getting this into a brochure, and seeing some people want to, because really, even from a square footage standpoint, I think those are still priced really well, you know, for that. You know, it allows somebody to, you know, at 15,000 square feet, you know, 11 grand, you know, they can buy 3 of them to get an acre, which I think is about what some of those in Silver Fox are. And, you know, you're still, they're at 50 and you're at 34,000. So I think, you know, again, Silver Fox probably a little bit more desirable area, you know, a little bit more secluded, but still, I think it seats in there nicely in comparison. So, so I kind of wanted to just get your guys' okay with doing this route, so we can get that implemented, and, you know, we're kind of getting to that prime time where people might want to buy or have a spec or do something. So, any questions or comments?
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Cleans it up a lot.
Have there been any inquiries recently besides what you were talking about, or?
Been a few.
There's been a few? Good.
And this will help, it'll be so much easier
Yeah.
just to be able to give them pricing.
Yeah, I think this will help you.
Nothing else? Sam, Jim, thanks for coming out with me. Have a good week.
Okay, tell me. Okay, so my kid and her get her friends, and so I said.
I noticed that we got better training.
Yeah, my wife said that, yeah. She's all excited, so. What is
Well, they were still working on state foundation, basically it's gonna be
But they were tracking all that.
We
So
start
I don't even know that that's.
control those.
We can do it on Saturday or Sunday, because all of us will say it's 5 o'clock.
Not a good start.
There's no way. Right now, being the sun, she can't Really? That's really awesome.
Oh, Blue Ridge.
Well, I think, oh, yeah, no, yeah.
He doesn't have to tell me what he's having.
Thursday at 3, so.
And this is